How cool is this? Seeing Overwatch League advertised inside the game. I think we're going to see more of this as well, guys, in the next couple of days, probably into next week as well. Remember for the World Cup when we had the little watch button we could press and you take you straight to the World Cup from inside the game? That was really cool. I think we'll see that for Overwatch League. Anyway, let's get stuck into the video. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. I'm Stylosa and this is Unit Lost. So, there is a new SR system on the block. Now, if you are a diamond player and above, it's different for you now in competitive. However, if you are a diamond player, well, below diamond, so platinum or below, don't think this video doesn't apply to you, because it still does. Because I'm fairly sure at some point they will start rolling this out to different tiers of players, because it kind of really doesn't make sense to keep the personal performance-based SR system in when actually there's still a lot of variance in what goes on in terms of how much SR you gain. Because the problem was with this system is we were unsure how it would be implemented. It was a case of, okay, they get rid of the performance-based SR. So just to give you guys a recap as to what that meant, it meant that when you played a game of Overwatch, it didn't compare you against people you were playing against in that game, people on your team. It compared you against everybody, like literally everybody of the same SR, so the same rank as you, who plays that hero that you just played, and says, oh, did Stylosa play okay on Soldier there? Well, he only got 15 eliminations and 8 deaths, so that was bad, because the average for his rank should be 25 eliminations and 5 deaths, so we're going to give him loads of minus SR. The problem with that is, we don't know what went on in that game. Maybe the eliminations I got were really critical eliminations that somehow helped the team. Like maybe I took out Mercy multiple times as she was using Valkyrie or something. Maybe I was playing in a really dangerous way. Maybe the way that my team was playing meant I had to play really dangerous, so I ended up with more deaths. The game's got no way of knowing that. But instead it would go, uh-oh, you lost, and maybe it was a really close game, like so super close, and you just lose at the end, and it's like minus 30 SR, go away. That's crushing. That's like, what the hell? Nobody liked that. So the fact they've got rid of that for diamond and above players is good, but it's still there for platinum below, and I think that kind of still needs to change because of these reasons. Now, I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible because it still is kind of early days for this. We're still not entirely sure how it works. However, I've been playing a lot of games on Spitfire, and I've been watching the amount of SR I gain and lose based on the performances and based on the medals that I actually pick up. And I think it's still kind of the same as it was before, which is a weird thing to say. So if I play quite well in a game, so if I'm playing Soldier and I've got gold limbs, gold damage, and it's a lot of eliminations and there's not a lot of deaths there, and we absolutely trash the enemy, I will gain decent points. But what's going on as a result there? Well, there's actually, I think, a very simple equation. You've got your individual SR, so whatever your SR is at the time. You've got your team's SR, so the rating of your team. Now, you see this when you log into a game. Like, it comes up with the player list and the SR number at the top, and the expected result on whatever map you are playing on. I also think there's a fourth element to this as well, and it's your performance in the game. Not your personal performance compared to other people, but what you're actually doing in the game. Now, some maps you'll be expected to win. Some maps you'll be expected to lose based on if you start as a defender or attacker. They've got win percentages. They know that, yeah, there'll be a slight bias on, let's say, Hanamura. Attackers generally win more than defenders, blah, 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 and all of that stuff. So that will be factored in, but I don't think that's like a huge amount of SR. I think that's literally 2 or 3 SR. It's not a lot. The next thing we've got, and I think this is the biggest thing, is the SR team average. So if you've got a team of 3,200, well, you wouldn't have, well, yeah, 3,200 cast diamonds, so 3,200 SR. And apologies as well, guys, for my voice. It's still quite bad. I'm just soldiering through. So if you have 3,200 SR team against a 3,220 SR team, well, the other team there, the 3,220, has got 20 more SR average than, well, the previous team, so they're expected to win. So if the team with a lower rating wins, then they will gain more SR. So you can see there is loads of variables still. So what this can mean is you get different points for doing kind of the same thing, or at least it can feel that way. Now, I was confused yesterday because I played a couple of games on Control, and I noticed I was winning and losing exactly 25 SR, and I'm like, okay, if they really just gone, it's plus 25 or minus 25 SR on Control maps. It's not, though. I think that was just a pure coincidence. And this was the other issue, right? were Blizzard going to do that? You see, people were confused. Was it going to be a case of, look, if you win a game, you just get 25. If you lose a game, you just get minus 25. Now, there's actually quite a good argument for this, but then also it is kind of a really crazy thing to do. But let me just go into detail on this. So a pure win-loss system would completely, and I mean completely, promote playing to win. It means that you wouldn't just play your hero because you're just like whatever hero you main, you'd be like, look, we need a tank, so I'm going to play a tank this game, because if I don't, then we're just going to get destroyed because we don't have a tank, even though I want to play Junkrat or whatever, right? That type of behavior would then be rewarded if you won the game because you gain 25 SR. Previously, right, I'm not saying like this is if we're on like a pure win-loss SR game system. Previously, with the performance-based SR, that was a really bad thing to do, because if you played a lot of Soldier, Pharah, Tracer or whatever, right, and your team needed a tank, well, if you went and played a tank and you literally don't play tanks, you lose the game, you would get heavily penalised for it. Whereas if you lost the game playing Tracer, who you play all the time, you'll only get slightly penalised for it. So it's a very large chance you're going to lose anyway, so you may as well lose playing the hero you're better at, because you won't lose as much, right? That was really stupid. And this still happens for people in Platinum and below, which is really stupid, which, well, really needs to go. Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. There's no beating around the bush here. That needs to be just thrown out of the game. It's stupid. However, what we've got now is sort of like, it's like a go-between. I'm fairly sure your performance in the game is still impacting how much SR you get. So if you play out of your mind in the game, like, I mean completely out of your mind, you've got like 4 gold medals, you're just like absolutely annihilating the enemy team to the point of which, like, you know you're destroying them and you're just wrecking them. Maybe the enemy team are like, oh my god, this guy's annihilating us, what the hell? Something like that is going on, and you steamroll the enemy really quick. I think you still get more points as a result of that, even if you look at like that actual performance there, the game is still somehow saying, look, you are doing something really good and we like that, so we're going to give you more SR. Now, the problem with all of this is we will never actually know how it's giving us SR, because if they explain the system to us, then, well, the system gets abused. It's the same old thing. It's the same old defense they'll use, and it's a good defense because it's, well, a completely legitimate defense. So just to roll this all back and just to let me give you guys a bit of a recap again on how this is working, right? So, like I said, if you are in Diamond and above, this applies to you because it's the new system. There is a slight actual little sort of knock-on effect where it does kind of take a little bit longer to get games if you are at Grandmaster level, because they only queue within 250 SR of each other. Now, at the extremely high end, so we're talking like pro gamer level, like 4.6k and above, those guys are seeing queues of like 40, 45, 50 minutes long, but then they're getting put into games that are balanced. I think in my eyes, that's kind of okay-ish. I mean, I know those guys are at the extreme high end of the game. For the rest of us, like if you're like in low GM, which is where most of the time I sort of float around and whatnot, queue times seem to be a little bit longer. It doesn't really, well, I say seem to be a little bit longer. They're probably not. They're probably just the same length. Like maybe takes a minute and 20 seconds to find a game, minute and 50 seconds, which I think is, you know, that's a decent time. Anyway, just to recap the way this is working, this system, your SR is taken into account. Your team's average SR, which you can see at the start of the game, versus the enemy team, is taken into account. So if yours is higher than the enemy, and the enemy beat you, you'll lose more SR because you should have beat them because you've got higher SR. Now, I know it's not as cut and dry as that, because let's be honest, right? If you've got 4 Mercy players on your team, which I know is a rare occurrence, but let's just say support. So you've got 4 support players on your team. That's not going to go well for you, right? Because you don't have any DPS, you won't have enough tanks, whatever, right? The enemy team might have a proper team comp, so they beat you. So even though they're lower SR average, they beat you just because they had a better team comp, right? Which isn't really fair that then you get heavily punished as a result. However, this has got to start somewhere, hasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? We can't just sit here and keep going on with this, just do whatever the hell you like in competitive system. I think what I want to end this video on is kind of what Jeff touched on a little bit in the video he put out yesterday, and I did touch on this in the video I made yesterday, but this is very interesting to me. This is the idea that they are looking at competitive, and Jeff sort of did insinuate, for want of a better word, ladies and gentlemen, that they are looking at ways to evolve competitive. And how do you evolve competitive? Well, right now, with this sort of removal of personal based SR for Diamond and above, it means that it's a more team focused game. It's still not perfect. You know, I've still been in games with Torb mains who are just like, I'm playing Torb, and then just go completely off the handle on the microphone to the point of which I have to mute them and block them because they're just absolutely insanity. So you're going to get that anyway. if people are thinking, look, one trick, these like horrific one tricks who are ruining the game and all of this, which whatever, that's all up for debate. If you think that way and you think they're going away, that's not the case, because they're still going to be able to play it at a level which is going to put them, where they belong. Like, it's not just going to get rid of them because it's like, oh, you only play Symmetra, you only play Torb, you're just going to be thrown out of the game. No. But this is a very, very small sort of baby step to making teams a little bit more, team-like. And I've noticed in the games that I've played, a lot of them, it's very friendly. It's much friendlier than it was before. Now, this might just be a case of, it's a new season, so people just play competitive and maybe don't play it all of the time. And maybe they'll just stop playing after a week or so. And maybe those players are more friendly. I just don't know. There is a lot of factors coming in. But it seems to me like teams are actually trying to build compositions in the spawn, which is a new thing. Like, for a very long time, Overwatch has just been, I'm just going to play this hero, whatever. And then I'd be sitting there thinking, I'm going to flex. Okay, I'll pick this hero. And there's only so much of that I could take. Sometimes I just want to go out there and play, I don't know, Soldier or Junkrat or Diva, but somebody else is doing that, and I'm like, okay, I'll fill in. It doesn't feel great, does it? If you're doing that every, like literally every game, that's not good. Anyway, guys, my voice is absolutely destroyed. I am heading over to LA on Saturday. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be able to make some crazy content on what's going on with Overwatch League and all of that stuff, and maybe some other bits and pieces as well. I've actually upgraded my camera setup, which I would be using now, but I'm not very well, so hopefully I get better before I get on a plane and off I go. So I should be able to make some like really good footage. I'm going to do loads of cool stuff. I don't really want to spoil what I'm going to do, but it should be absolutely cool. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I'd really like to know what kind of SR you are gaining. Remember, you have to be in Diamond and above. If you're in Platinum or below, it's just the same as it was last season. So there isn't really any change there for you guys. I don't agree with that. I think there should be. I think that will come in time. But yeah, let me know, guys, how your games are going. Have you noticed it's been a little bit more friendly in Diamond and above? All right, guys, I've been Stylosa. This is Unit Lost, and I'm off to try and find my voice because it seems to be getting lost. I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Toodaloo.